In this short video, I want to share with you some ideas on how you might want to get started in property investing. Hi, my name is Mark Lloyd. I'm co-founder of Property Master Academy and an investor for over 15 years. One of the most popular strategies when getting started is buy-to-let. It's the mainstay of investing, it has been for a number of years. Now, why buy-to-let? It's also a relatively straightforward strategy too. I'm not talking about buying a property that's already tenanted. What ideally we're looking for is a property that's below market value, that we can add some value to it via refurbishment, let's say a new kitchen, new bathroom, and then renting out that property. We're also at that stage going to look to refinance. This is often referred to as the BRRR model. Sounds a bit of a mouthful, where you can actually buy, refurbish, rent, refinance. And the idea of that is to extract as much of your money as you possibly can out of that property on refinance to be able to go and do it again. So it's a very popular strategy and a very straightforward one when you're starting out. The benefits of it are that you can see the whole process all the way through, that will expand into larger projects as you expand your portfolio. The second strategy, very similar to the first, where we're perhaps maybe this time just looking to flip the property. Now what do I mean by that? Is buying and selling. But again, we're looking to buy a property ideally that's below market value, or something where we can add significant value. So in these instances, we're looking for properties that aren't really run down, tired, need a lot of work doing to them, because those are the ones where you can add the most value and make the most profit as well. But also, a slight variation on that theme is looking at existing properties, such as, let's say, a one-bedroom flat that has a large lounge where maybe by reconfiguring the property you create a second bedroom. By adding bedrooms to properties, you create a substantial amount of uplift in the value of that property. You can then either sell that property or refinance it and rent it to add to your portfolio. So again, a very simple strategy to get started with and not too complicated. The next strategy, if you're looking to get involved in HMOs but don't want to expend the amount of capital input required to get a proper HMO up and running, then you might want to consider rent-to-rent. Rent-to-rent is a really simple strategy to learn, but not necessarily simple to implement. And it is something you will certainly need some kind of teaching on to learn how to do it properly. But rent-to-rent in its basic form for an HMO is renting the property from a landlord and then re-renting it back out by the room. Now that could already be an existing HMO, or it might be one that could potentially be converted, subject to certain consents, into an HMO, and you make a margin between the rent you're paying the landlord and the rent you're charging. So let's say a fairly simple way of getting into HMOs, but the main benefit really for you, or two main benefits really. One is extremely low cost. You can look anything from zero to maybe £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 capital input on one rent-to-rent HMO property, but also you get to learn how to run an HMO and see whether that strategy really is for you before you actually start to go buying them. And my last tip for starting out in property is going to be deal sourcing. Deal sourcing is by far one of the most popular strategies available for those starting out in property, particularly if you have very little money, but also for those people that do have money. And let me explain why. When I first started, I had some money to invest, and that's exactly what I did. But I was sourcing at the same time, sourcing for myself primarily. But what I found was I was finding far too many deals I could cope with at the time. So I started to source those on to other investors. And in my very first year of investing, from sourcing alone, earned close to 6 figures. So it's a very good strategy, a very good way of learning about other strategies as well, and increasing your exposure to the market, exposure to other investors who could benefit you much later on. So that's a few ideas on getting started in property investing. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do, click the subscribe button below and also the notification bell so you get notified of other videos as they appear. You'll also see some videos appearing on your screen now which will help you progress in your property journey. Thanks for listening.